Alright, so I'm sure all of you know by now that the second trailer for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has dropped, and it has stirred up some hype around the game again, at least for myself. We were left with no new info for 3 whole months. 3 long, excruciating, agonizing months. So to start off with a few things, the games are set to release November 18th of 2022. Needless to say, my speculation for when the games were going to release was correct. Self 5. Okay, with that self-gratification out of the way, let's look at some details you may have missed in these new trailers. Or not. Some of these are pretty obvious, but I still wanted to talk about them nonetheless. So let's start off with the professors. First off, they are attractive. Look at these guys! Both of them, very good looking. Gone are the days of old men as the professors. Now are the days of young, hip, supermodel professors. Good job, Pokemon. I approve. So, these professors are rather interesting, mostly due to the fact that they are version exclusives. Professor Sada is the professor for Pokemon Scarlet, where Professor Turo is the professor for Pokemon Violet. This is the first in the Pokemon games. For 25 years, each region has had a single professor in every game. These games change that up. Let's look at the names of these professors. As we should all know by now, these games are inspired by the country of Spain. These games seem to be focused on the past and future. That is shown not only in some of the designs, but also the names of the professors. Professor Sada's name is most likely taken from the Spanish word pasada, which translated into English means past. On the other hand, Professor Turo's name is most likely taken from the Spanish word futuro, which translated into English means future. Now, this isn't the only thing that hints at the past and future playing a major part in these games. Let's take a look at the legendary Pokemon next. Starting off with Pokemon Scarlet's box art legendary. Koraidon, as I have now decided to pronounce it. I have taken some liberties here, but we can assume that Korai is derived from the Japanese word Kodai, which roughly translated in English means ancient. On the flip side, Miraidon, as I have also now decided to pronounce it, is a little more direct. If we take the start of that name, Mirai, we can again translate that from Japanese into English. Mirai meaning future. So we have 4 important characters pointing us towards both past and future. But that wasn't the only thing I saw that piques my interest in regards to this. Back to the professors real quick. Professor Sada is wearing what is commonly portrayed as ancient clothes. Lots of what I assume may be teeth as both a necklace and a belt. She also has more of a wild look to her. The colors are also colors commonly attributed to cavemen, orange and brown, very simplistic colors found in nature. Okay, upon rewatching the trailer for like the 100th time, I just noticed that Sada has fangs. Just a side note from editing. Professor Turo, on the other hand, definitely has more of a futuristic vibe to him. Instead of these simple orange and brown colors, Turo adopts colors more commonly associated with futuristic technology. Pinks, purples, dark blues. It appears to me that Turo is also more well-groomed. Last thing I want to show that kind of reminded me of the future and past dynamic going on here are the signs to what I can only assume are the professor's laboratories. The left I assume will belong to Sada, where the right will belong to Turo. To me, the one on the left looks more dull, more basic, something simple that could have been done by someone from the past. On the other hand, the one on the right is a bit more complex. It is shiny, it has more detail, something that would either take someone a really long time to do and a lot of precision to do, or something that was done by a machine. Just some small details I noticed after watching through this trailer a few times. Since we already started talking about the legendaries, let's go back and take a look at them once more before we continue on with the rest of the trailer. We can see that the legendaries have a few more things that contribute to the past and future elements. On Koraidon, if you look at the chest, it appears to be in the shape of a wheel, kind of like a motorcycle wheel, but a wheel nonetheless. A wheel being an ancient invention that changed the world. On Koraidon, if we zoom in on its legs, if we can even call them that, It has something that resembles a jet engine or like thrusters. Their colors also match up with the professor's colors. Koraidon having the red, white, and blue, kinda dull, something you would see in cave paintings, whereas Kiraidon definitely has a more futuristic vibe to it. Seeing as this game has this aesthetic, I wouldn't mind seeing something similar to what they decided to do in Black and White, where in Pokemon Black they had Black City, and in Pokemon White they had White Forest. And I believe, if I remember correctly, if you mix the records between the two games, then Black could visit White Forest and White could visit Black City. Something small that I think would be very interesting if it is done correctly, like having it tied to the story in some way. Okay, so that was a bit long-winded, but let's start looking at some of the rest of the trailer. I want to take a look at what I called a gas station during my initial viewing of the trailer. I think this may be the new Pokemon Center and the Pokemart, and if we zoom in on the building, we can see a few interesting details. First off, it shows a Wingull in the top left screen. Immediately to the right, we see some sandals. And then below those on a yellow screen, we see something that reminded me of like the GTS from previous games. In this shot, we get to see the side of this building, and we can get a better view. Here we can definitely see someone who resembles a Pokemart employee, based off of the blue shirt. Older versions of the Pokemart employee have had a blue apron or blue on them of some kind. Now, to the immediate right of that character, we can see someone in a red hat. It's very pixely, but you can kind of see the arm moving there. And this is possibly a Nurse Joy equivalent, as most of those characters have red of some kind in their design. I have just noticed looking at this photo that you have the blue for the Pokemart and red for the Pokemon Center, and then green, which I'm not sure what that may be. It's the possibility of maybe online functions. So I think I can say with certainty that these gas stations are going to be the new Pokemon Center and Pokemart. And yes, I will continue to call them gas stations. It is also possible that this building may also function as a place to buy clothes for customization, or possible it is the place where you activate the ability to play online with your friends. Now that's really it for this new building. Let me know if there's something that I missed. Since we are talking about online function and customization, let's take a look at those next. So if we go to the official Pokemon website, as well as a quick note from the trailer, we do see that there is 4-player co-op. You can play with up to 3 of your friends in the same world. Now the line in the trailer, I missed this upon my first viewing, but it says here, "Science is amazing. If you connect with friends, you can head out on adventures together, up to 4 at a time." The website also points out that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet allow multiplayer gameplay with up to 4 players. Along with series staples such as trading and battling, you will be able to explore the various locations of the region in these games with other players. So online multiplayer is something that people have been wanting for years, and it is finally making its way into these new Pokemon games. If we look at the trainers in this trailer, we can see that there is at least some degree of customization in these games. You see they have different hairstyles on them, different colors. Although that may be just from the game they're playing, they do have different hats. One guy has a headband where another one has a beanie. And the last has like a beret-looking type of hat. Then finally, the person with no hat. Then you have one of the characters shown wearing a shirt, tie, and shorts, where one is wearing pants with suspenders. The shoes on them also seem a bit different. One seems to be wearing a pair of loafers, while the others are wearing like sneakers or running shoes. Finally, the gloves are all different as well. Different colors and types. There are some fingerless, some are full gloves. Oh, and one character is even wearing glasses. The eye colors are different too, so maybe contacts are making their way back into this game. One thing the trailer shows is all 4 players going in separate directions, so it may be possible for everyone to go in different areas of the map and stay connected. Maybe. I doubt this. I think it will more likely be that you can only go so far before it stops you and tells you to turn around, or it could disconnect you, or maybe even just teleport you to the host. I am really excited to see what the multiplayer has in store for us, and I really hope they release some more information about it before the game's release. There was also another small detail I noticed while watching. But sneaking to some degree will also be making its return to this game. We can see the player character crouching towards the new Pokemon Smoliv, so maybe there will be some Pokemon that run away from you, just like in Sword and Shield or even in Legends Arceus. If that is the case, then we will most likely see aggressive Pokemon as well, ones that will attempt to attack you first. Since we're on the open world aspect of the game, let's continue on with that for a bit. It appears that these games will be non-linear, kind of like the early Pokemon games to some degree. So this begs the question, will the game scale with badges? Or will the game have set levels for different areas of the game, making us unable to catch certain Pokemon in certain areas, kind of like the wild area of Sword and Shield? I, for one, hope that the game scales with badges. That way you can explore and catch some Pokemon that are normally late game Pokemon as low levels. That way you can use them for the entirety of the playthrough. And seeing as this game is a full open world game, that to me would make the most sense. That way they're not locking off certain parts of the game from the get-go. Now, speaking of the Pokemon, let's look at the 3 new ones introduced. Since I've already mentioned Smoliv, let's take a look at this one first. Now, I did go over this in my previous video, so I'll be brief. Obviously, Smoliv is a small olive. It is a normal grass-type Pokemon with the ability Early Bird. It kind of reminds me of Petalil, so based off that alone, I could see this only being a 2-stage Pokemon. Up next is everyone's new favorite Pokemon, Lechonk. This little guy is amazing. It is just a pure normal type, and it has the abilities Aroma Veil and Gluttony. The first thing I noticed about it was its name, which is pretty close to the Spanish word, and forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, lechen, which roughly translates into small pig, or piglet, or baby pig. It's also chonky. If Scarlet and Violet have Pokemon like this for the remainder of the new Pokemon, I will be happy, that's for sure. Lechonk and Quaxley, whoever came up with those names, isn't getting paid enough. Finally, we have the brand new Pikachu clone. We've had one of these in every generation, and this game is no different. Pawmi is the name of this little guy. Also classified as a mouse Pokemon, it is a pure electric type. And I actually quite like this guy. Pawmi will have access to Static and Natural Cure as its abilities. You may not have been able to tell from this trailer, but this game looks massive. Just look at how tall this building is compared to the size of the characters. Now, so far in this game, we've also seen that there will be a day-night cycle, a snowy area, caves to explore, something that, to me, resembles a desert. We also see a variety of returning Pokemon. We see Pikachu, Legendar, Flaffy, Choodle, Larvitar and Bagon, Venonat, Colossal, Toxapex, Cryogonal, Gengar, Lurantis, Pikachu again, and finally Talonflame. It also appears that you will be able to at least see the Pokemon in the overworld. So I do hope all the Pokemon will appear in the overworld, kind of like in Arceus. Finally, some small details I noticed that I wanted to point out that aren't necessarily important. But first is your rival Nemona. She has a patch of green hair, and again, I know it's not important, but I just wanted to point it out. There's also possibly going to be some emotes that you can do online. As we see here in the trailer, one of the characters is running up, while the other one is waving. There's also possible size variations. As you can see from this Venonat that is huge. Pokemon following you will also be in this game to some degree, as we do see the 4 trainers being followed by their Pokemon. There were also a bunch of small details such as buildings in the background, windmills, lighthouses, things like that, that may be important to the story, but without enough footage, I didn't really want to make too many speculations about those. Honestly though, this trailer reignited my hype for this game, so I do hope they start releasing some more, as the games are a mere 5 months away. If there is anything that you noticed that I didn't include in this video, let me know in the comments down below. If there is any connection that you made that I missed, let me know as well. I do want to thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't seen my if you haven't seen my previous video, go check that out. A link to it will be in the description. I just go over all the available information on the official website. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye!